details now. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines in Nigerian newspapers this morning, starting off with the Daily Times and the lead story there. We've already taken that in the news earlier, talking about Senate and reps to confer with President Tinubu as killings escalate in Benue, Katsina and other states. Also, Wike, that's the FCT minister, to ban open grazing in the FCT. CBN sells fresh 1.3 trillion naira in treasury bills at 21.5%. This to curb inflation. FG threatens to revoke licenses of discos over poor power supply. On food crisis, customs intercept sacks of beans, I should say, going to Benue Republic. APC leader to Tinubu in a letter says you are failing, and FCT also to commence distribution of palliatives in Abuja councils. Next is Blueprint. NAS to pally Tinubu as terrorists kill 50 in Benue State. Troops neutralize 5 IPOB gunmen in Imo, rescue Zamfara. 15 kidnapped victims and 10 suspected killers of Islamic cleric murder nabbed. 3 days after looting Abuja warehouse, Tinubu orders distribution of grains to residents, and up above the masthead, captioned alleged 7.6 billion naira fraud. Appeal court quashes federal government's bid to rearraign former Abia State Governor Orji Uzo Kalu. All right, truck, a sad one here. Truck kills graduate awaiting NYSC call-up in Abia. And finally, on Blueprint, 300 Kano prison inmates incarcerated without record of crimes. That's according to an official. On the front page of Daily Trust, as we see now, a splash of stories there, one of which is reps seeking 100,000 minimum wage for workers. Jigawa Assembly impeaches 2 principal officers, suspend 4 chairmen of local governments, and Minister for Finance, Buhari's 8 years of printing money without productivity caused inflation there. The big story there is on the UN confirming the abduction of more than 200 women, female internally displaced persons in Borno State. We also took that in the news earlier on the show. Families ask federal government, National Assembly to rescue their loved ones, and terrorists are reported to have burnt IDP houses at Dikwa. Also, more than 40 killed as militia groups clash in Benue State. Herder, 50 cows, sheep killed in Plateau attack. And MPA grew revenue to 501 billion naira in 2023. And we're looking at New Telegraph now. JAMB okays use of ordinary HP pencil in UTME mock exam. POS pushes ATM transactions down by 26.3% to 5.21 trillion. The big story there is captioned, Nigeria farmers, we pay ransom to bandits at gunpoint to access our farms. They also warn of looming food crisis. FG's bid to guarantee food security a mirage with current insecurity. That's a reaction there. And in other stories, additional calls for restructuring devolution of power says that will address Nigeria's economic, social, political challenges. Reps demand living wage for Nigerian workers. All right. And next is Silent Times. Buhari's administration printed naira for 8 years without matching production. 22.7 trillion naira ways and means policy destroyed the economy. Now, 10 arrested over killing of Zamfara Muslim scholar Sheikh Abubakar says is in the news now. 10 arrested for the killing of the scholar Sheikh Abubakar. Mom charged with murdering 10-year-old daughter. Adelabu threatens to revoke disco's licenses over poor power supply. All right, to this Nigeria now. 40 feared killed as militia gangs clash in Benue. NAS to meet Tinubu over security challenges. Federal government pays tribute to late banking titan Herbert Wigwe and his family. Vice President quoted as saying he bloomed long before his co-travelers. Cattle roaming will end in Abuja, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike vows. Edo Assembly serves Shuaibu impeachment notice. Finally, for me, before moving to Ibrahim, first news. Reckless printing of money under Buhari caused inflation. Finance Minister says accuses ex-president's government of printing naira for 8 years without productivity. FG threatens to revoke disco's licenses over poor electricity supply. Summons ADC as well as the Badon Electricity Disco and TCN. Amid dollar inducement allegation, Edo Assembly begins Shaibu's impeachment proceedings. Ekiti APC chairman Omotosho dies. And regarding the Shuaibu controversy, Oshomole, former governor of the state and now senator, says, I have no hand in Obaseki's renewed plot against Shuaibu. Ibrahim.
Right, Voice of Liberty is the first with me, and then it has a lot of headlines here. Food smuggling, federal government intercepts 141 grain trucks, drivers threaten strike. Benue, 40, including 7 family members killed in militia gang war. Road crashes kill more Nigerians than insecurity, police PRO. Terrorism, bandits attack where there is no military presence, defense minister. Clock ticks for DSS, DIA DGs, IGP. And farmers in North pay bandits up to 100,000 to farm, this is according to report. Alleged 7.6 billion naira fraud. Appeal court strikes out federal government suit seeking Kalu's retrial. Nemasa refutes over 1.5 trillion naira fraud allegation against its DG. That's about it for the Voice of Liberty. The West is next. Food security. Lagos, Niger seal deal. And then Navy destroys 4 illegal oil refineries in Ondo. 3 remanded in prison over Ibadan explosion. Harsh weather in March, April, May may cause more malaria across Nigeria. Harsh weather in March, April may cause more malaria across Nigeria. Right, NIMET forecast actually. Lassa fever is here again. Oshun government approves new monarch for IRE. And then suspected killers of Ekiti monarch remanded in prison. 28 fresh job openings in Lagos, Abeokuta. And then we've also got below the masthead. Shetima hands over stores to 200 Ogun traders at Adire factory. Street traders get 7-day ultimatum in Oyo. And then Obasanjo launches new book at 87. Interesting. Now, next is leadership. Tinubu to Nigerians. Time will define our tough decisions. Extols Awolowo's leadership qualities, signs executive orders on oil, gas reforms. CBN raises customs duty rate to 1,560.511 to the dollar. And then 300 Kano inmates have no records of any crime. Police. Shaibu heads to court to stop impeachment. Appeal court affirms Abure as Labour Party chairman. Above the masthead, 40 feared killed as militia gangs clash in Benue. Sanusi weeps for Wigwe as many bid farewell. Next is daily independence. Security, rising insecurity. Security architecture has failed despite enough appropriations. Plans meeting President Tinubu, that's according to the Senate. 45 feared dead in herdsmen militia attack on Benue communities. 30 injured, scores missing, displaced. Tinubu signs executive orders to boost investment in oil, gas sector. Air traffic controllers kick against proliferation of aviation agencies departments. Lament inappropriate recruitment in Nama. Additional makes case for Nigeria's restructuring. welfarist policies, says states have potential to become financially autonomous. An appeal court affirms Abure as authentic Labour Party national chairman. Above the masthead, reps ask federal government to shut down open drug market, query capital market operators over unclaimed dividends, raise committee to look into modalities for payment of living wages. Edo Assembly begins impeachment process against Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu. Next is the Guardian newspaper. Deaths, unaccountable security votes may hobble state police plan. And then Boko Haram strikes again, raises several homes in Borno. NPA to consolidate 2023 performance, reconstruct Tinkan port. Students lament unpaid scholarship, seek Tinubu's intervention. And also, Nigeria's survival depends on food, health, housing, agenda across states, says additional. Appeal court strikes out federal government's bid to retry Ojikalu on alleged 7.6 billion naira fraud. 37-year-old Nigerian lawyer turned caregiver dies in UK. Edo Assembly begins impeachment process against Shaibu. That's about it for the Guardian newspaper. Next is the Punch newspaper. 24 states can't pay salaries without federal government allocation budgets. 24 states to pay 1.48 trillion naira salaries in 2024, but generates 914 billion naira. Governors advised to boost IGR. Additional wins Awolowo Prize, says low productivity costs Africa 2.6 trillion naira yearly. And troops comb bushes for 101 abducted women. IDP homes burned. Blackout, federal government threatens to revoke discos licenses. Next is the Nation newspaper. Outages, minister threatens discos with license revocation. Tinubu, Awolowo's legacies, principles live on. And then bureaucracy, cash crunch, stall e-passport issuance. Controversy trails killing of 30 in Benue. APC draws battle line with governor over 16 lawmakers. That's about it for the Nation newspaper. Next is Business Day newspaper. Weak transmission. Discos struggles plague past sector. Gary price doubles as cassava output shrinks. That's about it for the Business Day newspaper. Next is Nigeria News Direct. Tinubu approves incentives, tax credits to deepen gas investment, calls for flexibility of local content policy, contracting cycle to encourage investors. Epileptic power supply. Power Minister accuses DISCOs of failing to distribute power, summons TCN, DISCOs, MDs. And upon expiration of ultimatum, Benue government vows to prosecute violators of open grazing. Bodija explosion, court remands 3 over stockpiling of explosives. Economic hardship, lawmakers set up ad hoc committee to review minimum wage. Vanguard newspaper is next. Thierry Sanusi, I thought I would die before Wigwe. Bloodbath in Benue, 50 killed as militia gangs go to war. And also NLC TUC issues 7-day ultimatum to Soludo over workers' welfare. Last but not least is the Platform Times. AFDB president advocates youth's future in Nigeria. Why Nigeria must adopt non-interest banking system as experts. Ramadan, Sharia Council seeks creation of feeding centers for vulnerable. Heir apparent to Awujale family threatens legal action against factional leader. That's about it for the newspapers. Up for review.
Right. So many stories there in the papers. Of course, one of the big ones, reckless printing of money allegations being made by Wale Edun, finance minister, saying that this trend under the Buhari administration is what is behind the inflation the country is experiencing right now, amidst efforts by the incumbent administration to right those wrongs. All right.